Alright everyone, it's the Grim Lord here, and this is Grimm's Comics Corner. We have a really short Lady Death tale, and then we'll be into Evil Ernie next month, so stay tuned for that. But let's go ahead and get through this rather short Lady Death story here. Okay. Lady Death Fan Edition number 1, All Hallows Evil. Brian Pulido. Written by this time. Pencils by Stephen Hughes, watercolors Jason Jensen, lettering by Color Monkey. It's a little old, but it seems to tie in with what we've read. It's also 97. October 31st, 1496 AD. As the sun sets and All Hallows Eve approaches, the villagers of Mandeville, who call this land theirs, gather out of sheer desperation to placate the mercurial supernatural spirits who control the process of nature. They prepare to enact the ancient pagan ritual of Samhain. Does he have the seeds? He does. This could be our last chance. Don't I know it? A year ago, these lands teemed with the bright exuberance of life. Now the stark panorama reveals a deplorable, desolate wasteland. It's unchristian, Father Orbeck. They behave like pagans, praying to spirits. Calm yourself, Father Herman. We've only recently won them over to the Christian way. Be patient. They're fearful. The land's barren. They believe the veil that separates the living and the dead is at its thinnest and its prime for invocation. They mean to contact the death goddess and beg forgiveness. We're condemned, I tell you. Since we killed Matthias and burned his daughter, Hope, nothing grows. Matthias may have been a sadist, but we've never went hungry. The winter comes, we'll be starving. Oh, and then of course he says Matthias. Okay, yeah, we get that. Please remember the vow. We cannot kill ever again. Blessed goddess, I call upon your mighty spirit to come into my circle now. Infuse it with your many blessings. Come unite with me. I offer the seed to appease you. A fiery torture chamber in hell. I cannot give you what you want, milady. When I renounced my humanity, you brought me to hell. I command you send me back to earth. Let's see. You are cursed by Lucifer himself, never to return. You dare refuse me? I saw into my eternity well. My villagers who stole my life are preparing a ceremony. I must be there. I must repay them. Whack! Milady, there may be a way, but only your spirit form, and only for a scant few seconds. A few seconds is all I need, demon. Cloak me in the mantle of your fertile power. Unite with me. Unite! Lord Dagda, do you not see what I see? What? Look! It is the death goddess. What do you want of me, peasants? Look at them, ever fearful of fire and brimstone. They're nothing but cattle. The old god has died. Release him so he may be reborn and our crops can be grown anew. We've brought the seed to appease you. Superstitious fools. I don't want your seeds. Instead, I'll bless them. But I demand a sacrifice. You! It was Father Herman who branded me a witch. I only sought to save my dear friend Agnes from the plague. Tonight he'll pay with his life, and later I'll see him in hell. What manner of creature is she? But our vow, we must survive. We won't last the winter. No, you mustn't give in. No! Ah! Plant the seeds tonight and in the morning. You're all invited to a special harvest. The death goddess, she's gone. Let him up, you hear? Let Father Herman up. We shouldn't cross the death goddess. Nonsense! Father, how would you explain the goddess's manifestation? The spirit had to see a sacrifice. You understand, Father, don't you? And then, of course, all right. Hold on. Going a little fast. Nonsense! No, that's not how we do this. Let's start from the beginning. We shouldn't cross the death goddess. Nonsense! The spirit had to see a sacrifice. You understand, Father, don't you? Father, how would you explain the goddess's manifestation? I fear I cannot. To the fields, there's work to be done. The next day is a ghastly one. Horribly gray and dull, it is filled with gloom and foreboding. Do you think we'll finally have a harvest? If not, our bones will turn to straw. Already we are withered. People, People, this is not in the way. Trust in the Lord. What do you say to that, Father Herman? It's an illusion. It must be. We're saved! Saved! Their stomachs empty, the villagers don't take care to notice the pumpkin's unusual markings. What's this? It has a face. An evil face. Rise, my brothers, rise! The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not... Ah! Out of the ground they come, countless killer pumpkins. Splack! They arrived expecting bounty. Oh, I invited them to a harvest all right, and it looks like they got picked. Ha ha ha! Your cruelty is only matched by your ingenuity. Happy Halloween, Lady Death. Happy Halloween. Ah, no! Grah! And... okay. There's some interesting stuff here, I guess. We can read it. But I'm gonna have to remember, what is that little... Ah, yes. It's the... That ain't it. No, yeah, alright. To commemorate this fantastic Lady Death fan edition, we, a fan, thought who better to talk to than the head ghoul of Chaos Comics, Brian Polito. Brian talks of his upcoming projects, his plan for world domination, and mostly of his undying gratitude for Chaos fans. So join us as we journey through the chaotic underworld of Brian Polito. Fan, what makes Chaos Comics so popular? That's always a tough question to answer because I'm the publisher. What I hope is that we're giving the readers a dose of something that's very pure, that's from our heart, and can sense that. And they can sense that, rather. When you started Chaos Comics, did you dream that you would become so successful so fast? No, not at all. Oh, we can do this better. No, not at all. I was just worried about getting the next book out. To answer your question honestly, no, I'd never have guessed this. It's fantastic. I'm living a dream. It's phenomenal. I'm awake. It's wild. When it started, especially with Lady Death #1 back in January of '94, it just exploded right in front of our face, and we were like, holy mackerel. But then we just caught the reins of the horse and said, we're off to the races. Now we're really happy to be contenders, and I love it. The Chaos Crest, where did that come from? Hold on. We're going to have to... because I got to zoom down a little more. All right. That is not particularly unique. Unbeknownst to me, Michael Moorcock developed the first Chaos Shield of any kind. And to be real honest with you, I was unaware of that. I got excited about the premise of the Chaos Shield after having seen some Warhammer games from England. Remember, Warhammer hadn't really come over to the US yet. Chaos Comics have been around for a while, but the Chaos Shield is almost common law over in England, so it's used a lot. He doesn't know anything about Chaos Magic either, which uses it a lot. So we adapted our own version of it. It comes from a lot of pop cultural influences. With the success of Evil Ernie and Lady Death, are you going to do something more lighthearted? Not that Evil Ernie isn't lighthearted. Well, I think people have come to expect the darker side of things from Chaos Comics. There have been times we tried things out of that category, and we've had certain degrees of success. Right now we have a science fiction series running. I don't know anything about that one. Called Rack and Pain. And although the initial orders from retailers weren't large, it seems to have been embraced by our readers. Stephen Hughes and I are also committed to a creation we call Detonator. Detonator is a look at the cause and effects of people with power and their effects on the world. Next year, you'll see us making comic books that are scary, but for kids, I think. By and large, we're pretty happy with where the company's at. We are where darkness dwells, between scary stories and stories of Armageddon. I am perfectly happy to tell those tales for the rest of my life, as he has. By the way, there is a Lady Death video game coming out. No, I'm not lying. It's a real game. It's going to be developed by Flying Kick Studios. Brian Polito and Coffin Comics are at the are at the heart of it. So I think it's going to be a beat 'em up because I think Flying Kick really does a lot of beat 'em ups. So, dude, a fucking Lady Death beat 'em up would be awesome. And yes, I'll be playing it on the channel, like completely. It would not be right to have a channel that covers Chaos Comics without doing a full, like, as many as, like, we do playthroughs on the channel. I'll try to do as much as I can of it. So far, it doesn't seem there's going to be a GOG release, but it seems like it'll be on Steam and a bunch of other things. So, I mean, I would definitely pick it up and have it for you guys to play. It'll also be on consoles, so don't worry about that. But yes, it is a real Lady Death game. Not much is known about it. They said they're not going to be able to say anything till about April 14th. So we're just going to have to wait. But man, am I looking forward to that. Being able to play as all these characters. Like, I hope Evil Ernie's in the game. Dude, that's going to be so fucking cool. If Ernie has to be in the game. Maybe a boss or something like that. But yeah, it's a full Lady Death game. And I hope that, remember the big Thanos dude that we covered in, I think it was Odyssey? I hope he's in there. The guy that wants to make everything chaos. Yeah, I hope he's in there. I hope they have a lot of these classic villains, right? Because he should have the rights to all these characters, technically. So, Purgatory, she could be in there. So many different characters that could be in this game. But yes, it is a real video game. I'm not bullshitting you. You can Google it. You'll see nothing but a picture. All they have is art right now. We don't know any fucking thing else. But we do know that the game is coming. It's in development. And we'll know more information in April. It might not even come out this year. It might come out later. But that's the same team that's responsible for the Phantom game, which is a beat-em-up. So they may have been doing the Lady Death game and the Phantom game at the same time, as some of these, studios tend to do. It's an indie game, of course. But we like indies here, right? And I just cannot wait to share this game with you. It's Coffin Comics. It's not going to be, crazy sweet baby shit. It's going to be good. It's going to be just like we remember. Like Lady Death, she looks the part. I've looked at the Lady Death art for the for the game. It is what we want. Trust me. They didn't change Lady Death. She hasn't had modern changes for the it's not for the modern generation. It's for us. It's for us, the people that grew up with Lady Death and all these characters. So I just can't wait to see it, and I hope it's going to be good. But is Chaos planning any crossovers with any companies? We have no plans in the immediate future to do crossovers. We looked at this phenomenon of people doing all these crossovers, and we figured the best way for us to be unique and to continue to build our own mythology was just to stay out of it. There are some crossovers that I think could be fun, but there are no plans whatsoever on the horizon. We've gotten a lot of feedback from people saying they're just sick of it and that they don't see a lot of crossovers as cash-in moves. I really don't disagree. I think sometimes when companies are in trouble, they do a lot of these crossovers. While there are some that would be fun, we generally have no plans whatsoever. With the popularity of toys growing within our marketplace, remember this was the late 90s, are we going to have Lady Death or Evil Ernie action figures anytime soon? There's absolutely nothing I can tell you, but if I were you, I would stay tuned. I am not the kind of person to hype things up, but stay tuned. Keep your eyes peeled to fan to find out. Are there any more trading card projects in the works? Yes, over the next calendar year, we have plans to produce 3 separate card sets. They're all in production now. Brand new Evil Ernie set will come out in the spring, and a set called the Cast of Chaos will come out in the summer. There will also be a special Halloween project. We have a lot of tremendously talented artists working on the projects. Have you given any thought to producing a collectible card game for Lady Death or Evil Ernie? One of the messages we like to convey to our readers is that there's a lot more to the Chaos Cosmos than Ernie and Lady Death. Though they are in the forefront right now, we have 54 active characters that are very alive. Wow. That are very alive and well. Although all of them don't have a comic book series, a lot of them are very fleshed out and operate in and out of the series. It's something we're all incredibly interested in because I personally like all that stuff a lot. I want our mythology to be fleshed out, but I really don't really want to force it. I want it to come out organically. I can see going into development on things like that within the next calendar year. I just love that stuff. Tell me about the Chaos Halloween party. In my personal life, and now since Chaos has started, I've always had Halloween parties. And now that Chaos is where darkness dwells, We've had parties for the last 2 years. We had some wonderful people show up at last year's party, and keep in mind we're in the middle of the American Southwest here in Phoenix, Arizona. What made this year very, very exciting is that we opened up our party to our fan club, which is considerable, and the party was a blast. Costumes were required or your head was severed at the door. We invited industry professionals if they were interested in coming out. We held our first annual theme awards, and we had a lot of exciting categories. One of them was the best tattoo of a Chaos character, and this year we had well over 50 tattoos. We had a customized vehicles category, and we had 7 or 8 amazing submissions there. We had a letter hacker of the year, poem of the year, because folks do write us poems, and custom made action figure of the year. That's just to name a few of the categories. I think I can go on record as saying Chaos, in terms of customer service, we celebrate our readers perhaps more than any other comic company. And when people start seeing the death, I wouldn't be surprised if they start copying that from us too, as they copy a lot of other things. We believe our readers are more dedicated than others, and that there would be no Chaos without our readers, very simply. So this is our way of recognizing individual achievements by our readers, things that they have done for us. We also had a costume contest, and our house band Doomsday played. In addition to that, all kinds of madness and insanity occurred. If you're asking me, it's my dream to have those parties. Unequivocally, yes. It's to celebrate All Hallows Eve, and it's a very wonderful, heartwarming thing. Have you given any consideration to being on an outlet for a small press guy who's just getting started? Oh, sorry. Have you given any consideration to being an outlet for a small press guy who's just getting started? You know, Chaos has this identity as where darkness dwells. I'm not considering anything like that, regardless of what you may have heard. The only books I could possibly consider would be books that come from that category, that come from very responsible creators. I'll give you an example. I think the finest comic book on the stands right now is Johnny the Homicidal Maniac. Really? I think it's the finest comic. And I get the sense that the artist and his publisher are getting along merrily. One thing I won't do is go step on other people's toes and steal away talent or anything. That's terrible. You know, the door is open if the guy from Johnny ever wants me to publish his book. I would love to. I would almost consider it an honor. I think the book's tremendous. But we're not looking to beef up our book by absorbing other entities. Chaos is a cosmos unto itself, and live or die, sink or swim, I am the pirate captain of the ship, and if it sinks, I will sink with it. I will continue to ride it and let it float effortlessly over the ocean as it is now. Okay, that's all we have. So, alright everyone, it's the Grim Lord, and I thank you guys for hanging with us on yet another Chaos Comics run of Grimm's Comics Corner. And we will see you guys next time, as usual, with more comics. I think next up we've got The Invisibles, and of course, more Fathom. So stay tuned for that.